Welcome to the Essential Women of Liberty. In this series, we explore the lives and ideas of some of the most important and influential women over the last few centuries, each of whom made enormous contributions to the democratic, prosperous, and free societies that dominate the world today. Every spring, tens of thousands of people all over the world lace up their shoes and walk around their cities in honor of one such woman, Jane Jacobs. Born in Scranton, Pennsylvania in May 1916, Jacobs moved to New York City at the age of 18 and lived there for 34 years, where she wrote about cities and urban planning and became a community activist. In fact, Jacobs spent much of her career fighting city planners, who in the 1950s and 1960s had enormous power to redesign neighborhoods, particularly lower-income areas. These unelected bureaucrats would declare that certain areas needed to be redeveloped, often without any input from the residents living there, including Jacobs' own neighborhood of Greenwich Village in New York City. They would then clear the residents and businesses that were located there, fundamentally changing the community. They then proceeded to replace them with towering blocks of low-income government housing, or with highways cutting through the city. For Jacobs, this approach was entirely wrong and would result in enormously negative outcomes. Through her work, she showed how cities evolved out of the interactions and exchanges between the residents of the area and the businesses that emerged over time, and importantly, how this process resulted in thriving communities. Jacobs' work also showed how the bureaucratically planned communities failed and actually caused urban decline. Jacobs is perhaps best known for her 1961 book, The Death and Life of Great American Cities, which is credited with fundamentally changing urban planning. Her work has been taught in universities for nearly 60 years, and as a result of her advocacy and writing, centrally planned government housing developments have been rejected in city after city. In the late 1960s, Jacobs and her family moved to Toronto, Canada, where she continued her advocacy for work on urban planning. In 1998, she was invested as an Officer of the Order of Canada, one of the country's highest honors. She died in Toronto in 2006. To learn about more essential women of liberty, visit essentialwomenofliberty.org. And to learn about more essential scholars, visit essentialscholars.org.